and Republicans have called for Board of Corrections member Alonzo Giles to resign from his position, both House members and state senators. And we are meeting here today as a group in a press conference to call for Board of Corrections member Alonzo Giles to resign. Look, we all have an appreciation that in the United States of America and Arkansas, you are innocent until proven guilty. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is about Board of Corrections member who has lost public trust. 5 lawsuits, over 50 people with significant, serious allegations are a real distraction for the work that needs to be done. Many members, including myself, have called Mr. Giles asking him to call us and talk to us about situations. He's not returning phone calls. We think he's simply not doing his job because of the distractions from these lawsuits. We're asking him, due to the loss of public trust, to do the right thing and step down. I'm going to pass off the mic now to Majority Leader Blake Johnson.
Thank you, Senator. Today, I appreciate y'all coming to the press conference. Yesterday afternoon, the Senate Republican Caucus met, and the majority of the Senate Republican Caucus have asked me to send a letter, and that's why I'm here at this press conference, to ask for the immediate resignation of Alonzo Giles. We appreciate his work, but the public trust is a matter that we all take seriously, and I hope Mr. Giles will understand that his position is very important, and that no matter where he is, it has a reflection on the rest of the elected officials in the state of Arkansas as this very important board member. So appreciate y'all coming today, and now Representative Howard Beatty.
Thank you, Senator. Ladies and gentlemen, my comments, I took quite a bit of time in drafting a letter to Board Member Giles, and I think my comments in the letter, I'm going to read that to you and state those comments. And this is a letter I sent to Mr. Giles and the Board of Corrections. That as a member of the Arkansas Board of Corrections, you're entrusted with ensuring the safety and well-being of individuals within the correctional system. And the allegations directly contradict his responsibility, or that responsibility. It's imperative that the public has trust and confidence in the individual serving on the Arkansas Board of Corrections, and your continued presence undermines that trust. To uphold the integrity of the board and demonstrate accountability for your actions, I urge you to resign immediately. And I think that states the case for his resignation. So, thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank all my colleagues for being here and the show of support on this issue. I want to thank the members of the press certainly for being here as well. As the lead sponsor of the Protect Arkansas Act, I understand, and my colleagues here who voted for it understand the important issue at hand of dealing with the crime crisis facing our state, dealing with the issues that victims have endured, and understand that we have to address those issues. Mr. Giles' continued service on the Board of Corrections is a distraction from all of those things. His legal entanglements have put him in a position that I don't think that he can adequately focus on the issues at hand of dealing with issues in the Department of Corrections and other things that have arisen with the lawsuits just surrounding the Department of Corrections in general. So with that, I'm proud to stand here with my colleagues in this show of support saying that Mr. Giles immediately needs to resign. We've called on him. I've personally made a phone call to him, which he has not responded to my phone call. I know others have as well. I sent a letter to which he has not responded to as well. I think proving the point that he has a lot going on with these legal issues that he needs to step down from his position on the board to address. So with that, thank you all for being here, and to my colleagues. Again, there needs to be surety of public trust in officials like him, and the public need to have the ability to look at officials like that, understanding that they can have the confidence in them to do the job that they're supposed to do. So with that, thank you all. I think we're happy to take questions.
What are y'all's next steps? I mean, I know that y'all have 2 options. Basically, the board can unanimously vote to remove him, or what the legislature can vote to do that. What do y'all do next?
Well, I think that's yet to be seen. I think that there's a lot of options on the table, as you pointed out, and I think that the first process that you mentioned for removal is actually one initiated by the governor. And so we'll let her, speak to that if she intends to actually signal for his removal, to which the board would have to actually take a vote on.
Do you think y'all have the support in the legislature to remove him if it came to that?
Again, I think we need to have that conversation when it comes to that, but you see, this is a good broad spectrum of the legislature here, and this is a bipartisan issue. There's been members across the aisle that have spoken out on this issue, calling for his resignation, and so I think when we get to that point, we'll see where the votes are.
Can you touch on, expand on that, because we've heard some say, well, this is just simply more politics. Your response to that?
Look, I think it is. I think everything we do in this building is political of certain degree, but I don't think it's politics to say that there should be accountability and that we should guarantee that the public can have trust and confidence in the people who are in these positions. We can all be removed from our position with a vote of the people. Mr. Giles can't. So this is a mechanism that we're standing up on behalf of our constituents and saying we want him to resign.
Have you sent him notification about this? Is there gonna, you say you tried contacting him, no response? What's the latest?
Yeah, I've personally tried to reach out to him. I think that he has. I think that he's received several letters from people standing up here. He's not returned my call. I know he's not returned others. I'm happy to let anyone else speak to that may have sent a letter or call.
I just want to say one thing. Since you raised the question that it's merely politics, I think if it was not political, the Board of Corrections would have already called for his resignation, as it's a distraction to their efforts to take care of the Department of Corrections for the state. So if politics weren't involved, I think that action would have already taken place.
Any other questions?
How would y'all respond to the claims that he's made in response to these calls that this is just an attack on Amendment 33?
You want to take it?
So Amendment 33 is something that we all need to probably take a further look at anyway. I mean, it's fairly short. If you want to pull it up, you can read it, by yourself in about 45 seconds. So there's not a lot to it. And there's been a lot of personal interpretations about what that means and very few made by the courts. But I would say it's the sheer fact that he calls it an Amendment 33 issue. The calling for his resignation political, that is the problem. He is not supposed to be political. I think all of us would say, for me, it was very simple. I made a phone call with the purpose of asking, hey, are you going to be able to do your job with this, on the horizon? You've got a court case with 52 defendants. It's going to occupy a lot of your time. Are you going to be able to function in both? And I think just the sheer fact that he was unable to respond to that phone call was indicative of the answer. He cannot. And so I think that's what the vast majority of people up here are talking about today. We're not in an Amendment 33, conversation. He may want to turn it into that. It is not. Now, is that something that we should have later on? Absolutely, because there is so much unknown about Amendment 33 despite how long it's been in play. But again, that's not what's at stake here today. I think there is a lot being tasked, as Senator Gilmore touched on it, to the Department of Corrections. We talked about it yesterday in the pre-budget meetings. We are looking to build a substantial prison in the state. They are tasked with finding the location and making that happen. How can you do that if you can't have basic conversations?
I mean, this is the second time in recent months that this has happened to the Board of Corrections member. Would you all be in favor of higher vetting or any sort of different process for people serving on boards or appointees?
Well, in both of these cases, this is information that's new after they were appointed and confirmed by the Senate. And I can tell you one thing about Mr. Alonzo Giles. There is zero chance he's confirmable today with this information. If we knew this information years ago before he was confirmed, he would have never been confirmed. This is why we're standing here today. This new information, he is no longer confirmable. If he was asked today, if he was appointed today, he would never be appointed by a governor, number one, with these types of serious allegations of child abuse. And number two, he would never be confirmable by the Senate. That's the reason we're here today saying this is new information. You would never got this appointment with this information, and you would have never been confirmed by the Senate. Do the right thing by the people of Arkansas. Stop making your personal issues part of the state issues. Do the right thing and resign.
Anyone else? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.